TV show is a great way to watch firsthand people coming in off the streets who don't know how to do this, and to experience, some of you for the first time, how exactly a medium works when they are truly channeling spirits in the light, how easy it is, and it's a ton of fun.
This is Danny Fit, and we are here at the second annual Spooktacular Spirit Fest, where we have Ivy Rivera come in. She does a gallery reading for us. We have a bunch of different vendors here selling their locally crafted items. And then after the gallery show, we have private readings with the mediums, tarot card readers. It's really fun. This is our second year doing it, and it was a blast last year. And with our studio being so about physically health, we like to connect the mind and body, and that's why this event is pretty important to us, because there's a connection there between, you know, your physical body and what's up here, and she does a good job at connecting that.
I'm Ivy the medium. I want to explain real quick that what I do is not a gift. This is an ability that everybody has, and I run an academy called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people in doing this work. So people walk in even as skeptics and walk out able to read, just as I'm doing. We have a couple students right back here who are here to do some of the readings tonight, but what Danielle is telling you about is the Ivy League Psychic Fair that's going on in the other room. So hope to see you in there for readings so you can experience what goes on with some of these graduates. Now, a lot of spirits coming through, a lot going on, but the way that I do my show is a little bit different than old traditional gallery shows. Who here has ever been to a gallery show? Okay, so the way these used to go, you were sort of sitting and hoping to receive a message, okay, and most people didn't get chosen. That's just how it goes. I designed a show called Ask a Medium. So what happens is you raise your hand, you can ask me anything: psychic, lost objects, paranormal, mediumship, if you want to hear from a loved one. And I will pick you, we'll spend some time on that, and then I'll move on to the next message. Okay. What I like to do though real quick, as the spirits are starting to come in, I will sometimes deliver out messages to the audience, and if you understand it, okay, you can claim that for yourself. If you understand a message and I didn't deliver it directly to you, it doesn't mean that it isn't for you. Keep that in mind. Who has a question? Who wants to start? Okay.
Are you feeling any sort of spirits around us?
I'm always feeling, you two in particular? Okay, I'm also feeling, I want to say, a baby over here and a baby back here. So I don't know who's like looking or is open to the possibility. Okay, but I see a couple babies waiting to come through here. So the two of you, now what are your names?
Audrey and Molly.
I'm Molly.
Okay, Audrey and Molly, and you want to know what spirits are around you? I do have a taller gentleman who makes me feel like he would have taken very good care of himself. It looks like t-shirts, but almost like a button down on top of that. Him coming through, watching over you guys, making me feel like new beginnings. He says that you're taking an old way of life and you're flipping it over into a new way of life. Sometimes this is feeling to me like I'm talking about your residency, but other times I feel like I'm talking about your work and your money. So I wouldn't rule out like changes within the business. And it feels to me like there's also a lady who comes through here who may have been cremated. She mentions a necklace, so that was either cremation, okay, or she handed down the necklace to you. But she keeps mentioning this, and I want to say I have like an M name also coming through with her, so it feels like to me like two ladies coming through over here. What they're talking about with you guys is that you're laying down the foundation right now. So for the next, it feels to me like 4 to 7 months, with the 4th month out from now being very, very dynamic with opportunities that you should not overlook, 2 of them in particular. It feels like you're laying down this foundation and you're going to be able to build your life and your wealth upon that, okay? So stay the course.
My best friend received a reading from Ivy the medium, and she was spot on with the information that she conveyed to my friend about her father who had passed away. Things that are very specific to his personality, what he would say and how he would react to her life currently. Ivy the psychic, Ivy the medium is incredible, and I will definitely sign up for an individual reading with her because she's the real deal.
And who's next? Yes. Okay, what's your mother's name?
Carolyn.
Okay. When I have Carolyn coming in here, I feel like sort of a slow demeanor about her. I want to say that she's sophisticated. She was wise beyond her years. She feels like an old soul to me. I want to say she carries a lot of wisdom about her. She would not have showcased that all the time. I feel like she would have kept her words to herself a lot, but then been like, didn't I say? It's almost like, didn't I tell you? Didn't we know? Didn't I know this was going to happen? So she seems to not necessarily want to pontificate all the time, but she knows her stuff. So she seems to do this with your life, but I also feel like she's not shy to put her hands on your situations. You have the son? You have the son. Is he living in another state? That one, okay? She's talking about the son who's in the other state. It's almost like you want to sometimes pull him in a little closer, okay? Pull him in a little closer, but you're not really able to do that, okay? In a realistic way. She says, I watch over him, and he does sometimes have a tendency to make you wonder if he's just going to change things up, just switch things up kind of on a whim, you know? And she says that sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not so good, okay? But there's nothing you could do about it. She's managing it. A ton of love. I also feel like there's another female, okay, there that she watches over. She is, I want to say, visiting you in your house a lot. I feel like I'm looking at a thick carpet, and I feel like I'm looking at you putting towels away and things like this, and she's talking to you. During that time, I would say pay attention to a ringing in your left ear. A lot of people think they have tinnitus. When your ear rings, that's a spirit coming in to communicate with you. Everybody gets this, okay? You'll either get that, an anxiety attack, or you'll start sweating. It's all the same thing. They're coming in to talk to you. So pay attention to what it is that she has to say, okay? She said, you've done a great job with everything, okay? Really, really beautiful job. Very, very proud of you with everything.
Not just that my mother validated it by mentioning my son. My mother only saw, out of all her 7 grandchildren, 2 of them, my children, a son and a daughter. So by stating to me that she was proud of what I've accomplished, that's huge to me.
She made me emotional because she talked about all 3 of my children and the chaos in the house, which there is, because I have 3 young boys in the house that keep me busy. One that shares his name, and she talked about my middle son, who is extremely stubborn, and he is. And then my baby is bright blue-eyed, and she said it. She goes, there's one with very light eyes, and that's him. She talked about all 3 of them, right, with my dad. So it was just a little bit. It was a little emotional.
I feel too like one with like lighter eyes, or the old wise eyes, an old soul. Okay, in that one kid. The other one seems to be, I'm very stubborn. He says he's very set in his ways. And it's like, you're not gonna tell me anything. And he says like, just pick your battles. Just pick your battles, don't wear yourself out, because there's really no point. He said that kid, he compares him to him. That kid can sense when you're about to come with the rule, or you're about to say it's homework time, you're about to say anything. Like, he feels it like 20 minutes before it even happens. Get ready for the battle. Like, he said it would be best just to have structure where everything's gonna be the same all the time for that one, so that there's no question, there's no debate, this is what's gonna happen today, okay? He goes, okay, yeah, you got me. All right, okay, yeah, you got me. He said, I love you too much, okay? I love you too much not to do this. He said, it's actually kind of fun. He said, I'm surprised how good I am at it. Like, I'm pretty good at this. He's so humble. He's a real humble guy. Yeah, he would definitely stand out in a room, so he loves you. Yeah, he loves you very much. The pants, he said, buy new ones. Buy new ones. Because I'll buy you some new ones. Give you a couple tens.
Can you send some of that, Tom? Okay, thank you.
Who's next? I'm doing the TV show to reach the mass public and hopefully expose them to the method that's being trained here at the Academy so that the average person can see that it is possible to get healthy, to get well, to get in touch with your intuitive abilities, that there's nothing to be fearful of, and that we are all capable of doing this beyond our expectations.
When I first came in, Ivy called me out immediately in the beginning and brought forward two people that had passed away, which I believe were my grandparents, and she had some great things to say about them. And then I also asked Ivy about my two sons, and she hit their personalities right on and had things to say about them that were also true.
It was actually amazing. I asked about my daughter, who was actually here, and she was completely spot on. I mean, my daughter's, going through decisions about college and that type of thing, and she is very confused about it, and that's exactly what Ivy pointed out. So I thought it was amazing.
What amazes me is whenever she does her readings, she's so intent and so expressive, and she doesn't stop. The information just keeps coming, and she barely stops to even take a breath. But I felt that she was very informative and gave me accurate information.
Yes?
I was wondering about my husband.
Your husband who's still living?
No, he passed.
Okay, and what's his name?
Jerry.
Gary?
Jerry.
Jerry. Okay, hold on a second here. Now I have Jerry coming in. I'm also hearing this other gentleman coming in here with him. I don't feel like he's alone over there, so he comes in with other company. He makes me feel as though he would have had some systemic issues going on, and I'm feeling a lot of pain and aggravation, okay? So like back here and all through here. I feel like this was a bit of a surprise, but it also feels to me like it was brewing beforehand. And he said that he's happy to be released of this, but missing you tremendously. He's giving you a white rose, always my symbol for healing. And it makes me feel like you trying to talk to him at the time of his passing, you trying to talk to him. And I feel you being, I almost want to say reserved in what you're saying. It feels like trying to hold it together, but feeling fairly shocked. And he makes me feel like this was almost like the closure was not all there. So on this rose, I'm seeing thorns, okay, which is like a miscommunication. And he's pulling those thorns off. He says he wants to keep communicating, having better talks with you. He's also giving me a red rose, which is a birthday or an anniversary right around this time. And I feel like he's mentioning two other people. Are there two children?
Yes.
Okay, is one a boy and one a girl?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like one lives at a little bit more of a distance. I was tempted to go with the boy on that, but I can't tell if that's just his personality or if it's literal. So he says also over the kids, okay, let the kids know too, I'm here, I'm talking, I want to talk more. I feel like the girl being very, very bullheaded, very stubborn, very dominant. Is she here? Okay, so I gotta switch over to you. He said that you're really like, no one's ever gonna tell you anything. He says, this is always what I loved about you, but sometimes you could be a little bit more laid back about things and allow for some change or some new ideas or some new experiences. He said, you know, you don't set the time clock. Did you know that? Did you know that you don't control time? I guess we like to think we do. I don't know, I never thought about it that way, but he said, you know, you don't control time. And if something needs to happen in its own timing, you may as well let go, all right? And just let it fall where it needs to fall. Let it fall where it may. He loves you both very, very much. Thank you. Who's next? Yes.
Actually, I wanted to know about my sons, Luke and Sam, how things look for them.
Okay. And Luke is older?
Yes.
Okay. Well, When I look at Luke, I feel a little bit more tame. The other one feels like a bit of a bulldozer. I feel like a little like a meatball, like coming in and just like, what do they call them, quarterbacks or whatever? I don't know, but a football player, you know, kind of coming in, and I feel like that's how the younger one looks at life. It's sort of like, what's that? I want that. I'm gonna go get that. And then I feel like there are other times when he really needs to verbalize what he wants, you know, and so he may have a little bit of gap in communication where you have to teach that one to not just forcefully go after what you want or have a fit about it. Okay, we're not gonna cry about it, we're not gonna pout about it, we're not gonna go take it and overpower somebody else. We're just going to find a way to say, I want to have this thing, and this is how I'm going to convince you to give me this thing. You understand what I'm saying? So we're working on communication a little bit there.
Ivy is very energetic. She seems to know a lot of things that I've seen other mediums that they don't know what Ivy knows. She was very dead on a lot of details. And then I also asked Ivy about my two sons, and she hit their personalities right on and had things to say about them that were also true.
I feel like he knows how to do this. He knows how to watch a situation and clock all the details before he makes his move, so he's a bit strategic. I see chess with him, very intellectual. They're a funny balance, and it looks good. I see a lot of road trips for you guys. I don't know, I don't know if you're planning on 3 trips in 1 year, but I do feel that that's a passion for you to show them the world.
Other life type things. I like to know why we do the things that we do, and like what motivations and who's like trying to break through and say things to us that like, are our thoughts really ours or somebody else putting them there?
Because it's the Ask a Medium show, you get to ask as many questions as we can get to in a 10-minute period. What would you like to talk about today?
Oh my gosh. Just my parents that are gone.
Okay. And what are their names?
Florence and Peter. And my kids.
And what are the kids' names in birth order?
Stacy and Jordan.
So when I'm going over here with your mother, what she's talking about is you're having, I feel sometimes like anxiety over the kids, a desire to almost, are they happy, you know, are they healthy, is everything okay? I just feel like the basics, you just want to make sure that everything's okay. And she says these aren't things that you really need to worry about. I do feel like one of them isn't always making the best decisions, and that you may have a sense of like, these are poor decisions, okay? Like you should have more common sense, or you should be doing what, you know, it's almost like what I told you to do more. I don't feel that there's anything necessarily that you're supposed to do, okay, more than what you already are. It seems that your daughter may also be going through some relationship change. I have her analyzing relationships and figuring out, especially in romantic partnerships, what is of value to her and when is it that she is receiving, okay, what she's really deserving of. I feel that she's also having to analyze then, what am I putting out? So if I'm putting out X amount of energy, then I deserve to get this back in return. I want to say that it's imperative that she's not shortchanging herself and saying, well, maybe I'm not giving enough, or maybe I didn't do enough. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, because if you're just going to take responsibility for something that isn't yours, then you're going to let the person off the hook. So whether it's like a romantic partnership or a job or whatever, they're not reciprocating. She needs to have some better boundaries with that. Your mother says that you watch over this and you want her to understand that, but you don't know how to really communicate that over to her. So it's just important that you're living by example, okay? And that has a lot to do with you cutting off your sense of responsibility where it doesn't belong. Okay, so live by example for your own self. Yeah. So people come to me with all different kinds of struggles, primarily missing those that have crossed over to the other side, feeling like there's a void between them. I bridge those gaps. So, Christina, my name is Ivy. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a clairvoyant. I'm going to be getting information about your past, your present, your future. I'm not going to the past unless I feel like it's affecting things in your life right now. Hold on a second here. Okay. I'm also an empath, so I'm going to get flashes and images that come off of you that would pertain to important situations and relationships that are going on in your life right now that will be affecting your future. The rest of the time, the majority of the time, what I'm going to be doing is channeling from the other side. That's your angels, your guides, your loved ones, your pets. That part I don't control. So if there were people that you were hoping to hear from, you'd want to start thinking on them at this time. All right. Is your father still here with us?
No.
Okay. I have your dad coming through, and he's mentioning a ring. So I feel like whether you're wearing this ring or there was a ring handed down, there's some talk of this. There's also, I want to say, talk of a relationship with you that felt to me like a romantic partnership that was a bit back and forth, okay? Making me feel like a bit like a tug of war, like we go forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So your father also mentioning that your dad coming through with a grandmother on mom's side of the family who is also coming through with what felt to me like an uncle brother type of guy who feels to me like he may have passed a bit before his time. It felt to me like there was impact and it was rather quick, and I do feel that the heart was affected. He seems funny to me, and he keeps talking about you playing ball with him. So I almost feel like interact with me. Let's have more fun. He keeps kicking balls over your way and trying to get you to like kick it back.
Definitely answers to questions I had about my father, my grandmother. My uncle coming through was a big kind of like present. He committed suicide when I was younger, and so that was very special to me that he came through. So, you know, kicking the ball with me, I remember all that.
And my feeling with this is that you sometimes get a little bit caught up in what you're doing. And he says, you forget us, you forget our world, okay? Not that you forget them, that you don't love us, that you're not sending us prayers or blessings or wondering how we're doing, but you forget how often we're around, and you forget that this other world exists, okay? So the spirit world. So don't get so caught up in your everyday that you're forgetting this.
That my dad and my grandmother, that everyone's around me, that they are interacting, that they're there for me, and I'm really hoping that I have a lovely dream tonight, because I have heard other people have had very healing and wonderful dreams after having a reading from Ivy. So that also was part of why I wanted to get a reading from her.
But at this point, you could take over. I can further develop any of this. You can ask other questions. You can also give me names of living or deceased. Where would you like to go with this today?
I'd say my grandmother on my mom's side.
Are you watching over your mom?
Yes, I am.
Okay. She just wrote down, before you even asked that, this is what she wrote. You're watching over mom. And it felt to me like you were struggling with it a bit because you're trying to reach and grab and take control over what clearly needs to be done. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But there are hands slapping you away. There are walls, there are boundaries, there are burdens that are being added to this, and it seems like it should be common sense and it should be going smoothly, and that's not always the case. So when your grandmother brought it up, my original feeling was that this is sort of your job in the family, your burden, your role, and it feels matriarchal, and she's very proud of you for it, but it also feels like you need additional strength to get it done, which she is providing. They are all providing for you, but there also seems to be a way to sort of outsmart some of these systems. And your grandmother is helping you to think in a proactive manner and to get ahead of the game. So before people make certain decisions or block your decisions, it seems to me that you could predict a lot of this. And that's sort of where you are right now, because you've been feeling a little bit like she shows you throwing your hands up. You're like, well, what else can I do? Okay, do you want it? Do you not want it? What more can I do? Okay. So as you throw your hands up and you're really giving it up, you're really saying, I'm going to let go and I'm going to let God. The thing is, you didn't get to that part yet. You're just stressed and saying, I quit, but you can't quit. So she wants you to let go and let God.
So that really held true to where I need to make sure and that I'm getting, doing self-care and getting out of the house and not just taking care of my parents. So that was also very helpful.
It's very similar to what your this brother gentleman who was coming in was talking about, where he said to you that you need to be a little bit more mindful of the other side. Don't get so caught up in what you're doing that you're not paying attention to them over here. And what other questions do you have?
I guess the last one would be with relationships.
Okay, meaning romantic?
Yes.
What's the name of the person that you're with now?
Michael.
Michael. There seems to be some past life connection and some soulmate connection also going on here, so that when the two of you met, you may have had an overwhelming sense of familiarity. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like an instantaneous comfort, almost this sense of we've always known each other, we're picking right up where we left off, like this is kind of remarkable. I'm feeling all of that. I'm also wondering where exactly it's going. What you might find with this one is that it has a set of complications about it that can be difficult for you to ignore or get past. There could be a lot of hard work that has to be put into it, but due to the past life connection and the soulmate connection, you may also feel that the bond is somewhat irreplaceable. It's very dynamic, it's very passionate, it's very easy with that, okay? And my feeling with this particular relationship is that this is something you're supposed to be engaging in right now, but he also seems to be tied up in some of his other stuff, and it may create a tone that he's not entirely available or able to come over to where you are, okay, or meet you on the same ground. And that can go on for a while longer. I would say it's a minimum of a 3 to 5 month process where he would be needing to get situated with all of those issues. And it's really up to his free will what he chooses to do with that. And I feel like what he's looking for in with you is stability. Okay, and I don't feel like other people have been able to give that to him. Okay. All right. So he really puts you up on this pedestal and really kind of wants to keep you there, forever. And I feel like enjoy that. Be on your pedestal. Okay?
Yes.
It feels like a great bond. And we'll see what he does with some of that other transitional stuff.
I was really excited to come here and do a reading with Ivy. I think she's got a wonderful school here and she's a wonderful person.